Christ. Meet local churches with open doors serving throughout the Border Valley community and sharing the truth and hope of God's love and salvation. A presentation by KSCE Channel 38 Christian Television. And now, united with Christ.
Good morning. My name is Maritza Hernandez, and I am with CPS, which is Children's Protective Services. Thank you to the TV station once again for having me here. This is the last program of November, and I think I will be back. Hopefully I'll be back until May of 2019. And as you all may recall, I am with Children's Protective Services. I'm the faith-based specialist. We do have a faith ministry through the state of Texas. I will introduce my guest shortly, but let's start with a prayer. Let's bow our heads. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day. Thank you for making this day beautiful, and thank you for this opportunity that the TV station has granted me. And through this program, I want to reach out as many people as I can and as many pastors as I can. In the name of Jesus, I ask and I pray. Amen. Well, thank you so much to the TV station. As I said, this is the last program in November, and every Friday I come in here and I have a different guest. But the whole topic, the main topic of the program is to introduce the faith-based program. And we do have a faith ministry through the state of Texas, through CPS, through Children's Protective Services. And so my job is to connect the churches to CPS. Basically, that's what it is. And my job is to call pastors for an appointment to introduce the program. The appointment doesn't last very long. I do have a PowerPoint presentation. It lasts about maybe 30 minutes, the entire presentation. And I call pastors every day. This is what my job consists of, and I introduce the ministry. Most pastors I talk to, they're surprised to learn that we do have a faith-based ministry, and we do. And basically what it is just the connection, the partnering together of the child welfare system with the faith community. That's what it is. And, the state is going back to that mentality of, who used to take care of the orphans and the widows 100 years ago? It was the church. It was not CPS. CPS came into existence maybe 40, 50 years ago. And so it was the church, and we want to go back to that mentality. We want to go back and seek the assistance of the churches to help us with the crisis. And I have mentioned this before. We do have about 30,000 or 31,000 children in foster care in Texas, and we do have about maybe 3,600 children waiting for adoption in Texas. And so yes, we are committed to seeking the assistance of the church to partner with CPS. And the partnering or the connection could be very basic. Sometimes when I call pastors, they mention, does this involve money? Well, not necessarily. It could be, it could be prayer, it could be relational. We do have a church in Horizon, Pastor Garcia. It's a Baptist church in Horizon. And I sent him a picture of a child that's waiting for adoption. I sent him a picture every month, and his congregation during his Sunday services pray for that child, that we find a forever family for him or her. And so basically it could be prayer. We have a lot of churches connected. We do have about 45 churches connected here in El Paso that connect in so many ways. We do have a Presbyterian church on the east side off of George Dieter. They're doing a collection of socks this month of December, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. It's just announcing the information to the congregation, and the congregation, people are very generous. People are very, very generous, and so it doesn't really take much to buy a pair of socks, somewhere when you're in the store. And so these socks go to foster children, obviously, and these socks have to be new. And so there are a lot of ways to partner with CPS. One of the ways to partner is for a church to join the care portal. I haven't mentioned the care portal in all the programs that I've done in November. but I have mentioned it before, and this is one of the ways that churches can connect. It does not necessarily mean that churches are always connected. Out of the 45 churches that we have partnering with CPS, we have about maybe 22 in the care portal. And basically what it is a worker goes into a home, observes the need that the family has, then goes into the care portal system and submits a request for that family. And it could be a used item. It could be a gently used item. It could be maybe a crib, or car seat, clothing. And so those items can be used, and that email that the worker submits goes out to the 22 churches involved in the care portal. And if the church is able to meet the need, great. The church will respond back to that email, and then the worker is notified that the church has met that need. And so once the church responds to that email that the need is there, then the other 21 churches are notified as well through an email that this other church responded. And, basically when we started in 2015, when I started with the faith-based program in 2015, we were, it was such a new program. And I was telling the workers back then, you are responsible for picking up that item at the church. And so therefore I'm now going back to the workers and changing things and explaining to them. We've seen a lot of success stories in Houston and Dallas, and so we want to make those successful stories here in El Paso as well. And so when we have found out that when families go and pick up the item themselves at the church, they find a connection there to that church. Maybe a mom that's struggling goes to the church and picks up an item, maybe meets the pastor, or someone prayed for her, and so that's the connection that we really want. I did a presentation at a church a few months back, and this was Vista Hills on Lee Trevino. And the pastor asked the congregation, that person that went over to that mom's house, can you stand up? And he did. He stood up and he mentioned, yes, I took over, I went to the home, to this mom's home. I dropped off the item that she needed. I took her a bag of groceries, and I helped fix a door there that was broken. And so that is the connection. That is the connection that we want. These are families that are struggling, children that are struggling, and I have to focus. All of us here at CPS focus on the children that we serve, and those are the most important human beings. And so, everything we do is for the children. And so, and also, I mentioned to pastors and I mentioned to the clergy, if there's church members interested in fostering, interested in adoption, I can go out there to the church. I work a lot of weekends. I'm there. As a matter of fact, I'm working December the 9th. I'm working December the 16th. I'm doing some presentations at churches, and basically it's recruitment. Recruitment is of the people that attend church, the parishioners and the church members. See if they want to become foster parents, and see if they want to become adoptive parents. We're always in need of adoptive parents, always in need of foster parents. And we do have sessions every month at the CPS office. They occur the second Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. And so if anyone is interested, people can just show up to the program. People can show up to the office and hear about the program. And we want people to come in, and they don't need to let us know that they're going. They don't need to register, sign up, nothing like that. Just come in and hear about the fostering and adoption program. We have that in orientation every month at the CPS office at 6 p.m. And, hear about the program. It's a PowerPoint presentation. If you like it, you can take the application home, pray about it, think about it some more. Once you submit that application to us, then that's when the process starts. But we don't call people, and we're not calling and asking, hey, you have not turned in your application. What happened? We don't want to do that. We don't want to constantly be calling people. We really want people to do it out of their kindness or their heart, and to really pray about it and really make that decision themselves. And so our CPS office, our main office, is located at Hawkins. We're almost in the corner of North Loop and Hawkins by the Valle Verde campus, the El Paso Community College Valle Verde campus. And we're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. My phone number is 915-309-3595. My office number is 915-521-3961. If any pastor or if anyone that would like to receive information about the faith-based program, if you can contact me, I answer my phone almost 24 hours a day. And that is funny, but I do. And so people can call me anytime if they have any questions about the faith-based ministry or about fostering or about adoption. And you can reach me via email as well. It's maritza.hernandez@dfps.state.tx.us. And I think that the fastest way or the easiest way to reach me is via my cell. I'm in and out of the office all the time, and so therefore I like to receive those calls through my cell phone, 915-309-3595. And again, the address for the CPS office is at 501 Hawkins. And those informational meetings that we have about fostering and adoption, we do have them the second Wednesday of each month at 6 p.m. And so you're welcome to stop by and hear about the program. And so, yes, when I speak with pastors, I usually give them a packet. This is a packet I give them, and it contains a lot of information about CPS and about ways to help CPS and ways to help our children. And basically, we work we strive to make the lives better for these children. And so with me today, I invited a guest, and she is also from CPS. And she'll talk more about an additional program that we have through CPS. We do have a lot of programs through CPS, and people are not aware of. And so every Friday, I try to invite a different guest so people can become aware of the CPS program. There's misconceptions out there, and hopefully I try to clarify them every Friday. And so with me today is a special guest, and I would like for her to introduce herself. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you, Ms.
Thank
Maritza.
you so much for coming. Thank you. I know you're busy, and you stopped by. Thank you.
Thank you
What is your name?
My name is Jessica Perales, and I want to thank you for the opportunity for having me here.
Thank you. And what is your title with CPS?
I'm a family group conference specialist too, and I supervise the kinship unit at Child Protective Services.
Okay, so you're a supervisor for the kinship program.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
And that's why I invited her, because I wanted her to give us more insight about the kinship program, because she is the supervisor for the kinship program. But I'll let her explain what it is. What is the kinship program? I guess just in basic terms.
The kinship program is a program that is designated to help out relatives that are caring for children that are under the foster care system. So instead of those children going into foster homes, they're placed with relatives or family friends.
That is wonderful. That is great. There's a misconception out there that CPS places all children in foster care. We do not.
That is correct. We always strive to place with family. We ask the parents, is there anybody that you want us to assess if they can care for the kids? And we always start with family, or even family friends to the family, or what we call fictive kin.
And we have success stories, right? Because I know a lot of these kinship families or these relatives end up adopting our children.
Yes.
That is true, right?
That is true.
And in the state of Texas is mandated to seek relatives before the children go out to foster care.
That is correct.
That is correct.
We are mandated to look for relatives first. And there's advantages to seeking relatives, because that keeps the children connected to their family. That keeps the children connected to their cultural identity as well. So we do have successful stories, when sometimes family reunification is not achieved, the children get to remain in a familiar setting. The children get to remain with their family.
And it's usually the grandparents, right?
We do have a lot of grandparents.
A lot of the
yes.
grandparents that take on these children, right? They keep, 1, 2, 5, 10 children at one point.
Yes. We work with grandparents, aunts, uncles, godparents as well, sometimes neighbors that have made that decision to care for our children.
And and you made a very good point. Children don't belong in the foster care system. They belong with their families, right? And it's just so much better when these children are placed with their relatives, with their grandma or with their uncle or and tell me more about the fictive kin program. What is that?
Fictive kin is their friends or family friends that have a connection with the child. So sometimes they may not be related to them directly by blood, but there is a relationship already with the child, and that's where like the godparents come in, the friends to the family. We have even had like neighbors that have stepped in and helped out, or parents of the children's friends that they already know the child, they already have a connection with the child, and they want to step up and care for that child, and they don't want the child to go to a foster home. So they'll step up and say, consider me. And of course,
wonderful.
There's requirements that we need to fulfill. Part of it is conducting a home study, passing background checks.
That is wonderful. And I've heard also about educators, right? Educators do come forward and say, I want to take care of the child.
That is correct. We work with educators as well. And educators, they get to engage with these children on a daily basis. So they do form a relationship with these children. And when they do become aware of the situation and that CPS is involved, they'll ask if they can be considered as well.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. Yes, these children don't belong in foster care. And so you mentioned requirements. Is there a lot of requirements? Do they get any help?
Yes, there are requirements. It's passing background checks. We do conduct CPS background checks and criminal background checks on everybody in the household over the age of 14. We assess the results. We conduct or request a kinship home assessment. And part of the kinship home assessment is an interview, an assessor going out to your home, interviewing the whole family, assessing the home, the sleeping arrangements, and they assess pretty much everything. It is a pretty detailed interview, but then again, we're trusting you to care for our children. That's why we require so much information. And there is assistance out there. If you do meet the criteria for the assistance, there's financial assistance for the first 12 months. And then after that, we can request the extensions if they're approved. But we try to achieve permanency for our children within those 12 months.
That is great news. That is great news that they are able to be helped financially.
Yes, and it's not, it's not only the financial assistance. They are assigned a kinship worker. And a kinship worker, but the role is to support that placement. So a lot of the times that kinship worker is that support worker for the family. So the kinship family receives or is assigned a kinship worker that will actually sit down with them, explain to them how the whole process works, what are the benefits, what resources we can tap into the community that can help us out as well. So it's just getting that support from the department as well. So we don't want them to feel that they're making this decision on their own. We want them to feel supported as well.
And that goes for, that's a success story in itself. It's if they're able to keep the children, with all this help that they're getting, that's wonderful. Because if they feel alone, most likely they're going to say, no, I don't want to do this, right? Or I do not want to call in and step in and do this.
Right. Right.
But
We
if they
can-
do get the
yes.
help, then that's wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yes.
And so, how long does it take, from the initial time that, say, someone calls in and says, I want to take care of this child?
We do ask that uh, the people that are interested to contact the worker, and the worker will actually mail them out or provide them with the kinship questionnaire, the release of information form. So there's forms that they need to be filled out. After all of that is submitted, we request the home study. We assess if background checks are cleared, if they'll be a good fit for our children. The home study takes about 15 to 20 days to receive. And then afterwards, it's reviewed by one of our program directors.
And for educators that are listening or that are watching the program, I want to learn more about the process. Do they keep the children forever? What happens?
Okay. We do work the legal case. We do work with the parents first. Usually our primary goal is family reunification. We try to work with the parents and for them to do services. If services are completed successfully, then reunification, we can safely reunify the children back with their parents. If family reunification is not achieved, then that's when we look at alternate permanency plans, which might include relative adoption or unrelated adoption. And that's when we consider the relatives or fictive kin to come forward and adopt the children.
Great. And so as an educator or as someone that maybe knows about a child in CPS and would like to take care of the child, it doesn't mean it's forever, right? Because some of these people say, oh no, I don't want to take care of this child forever until he turns 18. It may not be the case.
Right. We like I said, we try to work with the parents first. If we see that we're not moving towards family reunification, then that's when we consider looking for a family that will be committed to caring for the child long term.
And we strive also, the state of Texas does strive to return the children home, right? These children belong to their families. They belong to their birth families. Right.
And we always, consider family first, but, we also consider, are the children safe going back home? So we look at that. We understand the importance of being connected to their family, being connected to their birth family. Like I said, it's their cultural identity, it's their connection. But we also want to make sure that they are safe.
Wow, yes, great, wonderful. It is true. We do want to, we strive to return the children home. Sometimes, I make community presentations, and so they ask, that child, was doing so well with, foster parent or with, a fictive kin, and CPS returned the child home. Why? And so it's just, we don't get into details of the specifics of the case, but, children do belong to their families.
Right. Like
Yes.
I said, that's your connection. And we know no child will say that they, will really hate their parents. We understand that there's a connection to their parents and nobody can, take that away from them. But unfortunately, in some, cases we've seen that they're not always safe to go back, or the children's needs are not being met. So sometimes that's where we look towards family, friends, someone that can meet those needs and keep the children safe, but still have that connection with the parents, still have that connection to the family.
And we work with the parents for at least 12 months.
Yes, that is correct.
So we work with the biological parents of the children for at least 12 months, sometimes 18 months.
Sometimes they do grant an extension.
They grant an extension, and so thereafter, then if the children do not return, then they become eligible for adoption.
That is correct.
Okay, okay. And so the kinship family is able to adopt.
Yes. We refer them to our foster adoption program, and they'll work with the family to meet all the requirements to get licensed to adopt.
Okay. So they have to go through an additional step
Yes.
to obtain their license.
That is correct.
And how long does that take?
It is on a case-by-case basis, but the process, it goes as fast as the family submits paperwork, documentation. There's a process, where your home needs to pass, like a fire inspection, but they work with you. They work with the relatives. They really try to make that permanency or meet that permanency goal for the children and the family.
And so these families go through a fire inspection, probably a health inspection, and so forth. But the kinship worker helps them along the way to track all these issues.
Yes, that is correct. The kinship worker, and also they do get assigned a foster adoption worker that will work with them as well. So you'll have people that will work with you and will guide you through the process. So never think you're alone. No, I mean, there's people that guide you.
Great. Yes, all these CPS workers helping these families.
Yes.
And I've been told as well, to adopt, it takes a long time and it takes months. But it's not an easy process, but we welcome everybody, right, to look into it.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you can make a difference in that child's life, and that's what I tell the families that I work with, and you are making a difference in that child's life. You're showing a different lifestyle to that child. You're giving them an opportunity. So you're welcome to call. And if you know of someone, be brave and step up and say, I want to make a difference for that child.
Great. And would you like to provide your phone number if maybe there's people out there that could be relatives to children in CPS, or maybe like we spoke, fictive?
Yes. I'll provide my cell phone number. It's 915-227-3671. And I'm available, a phone call, a text, I can be reached that way.
Yes, and people that are watching and listening, they could be interested, and they can say, I'm an educator, I have a relationship with this child, I know this child is a CPS child, and I want to be involved. And so, and if they do, then they contact you?
Yes, the most appropriate step would be to contact the worker. And then the worker would be able to provide them with the forms that are necessary. If you're not able to contact the worker, then they can call me. Okay,
great. Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank
you. And thank you once again for having me here. I will see you back in May of 2019. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend. God bless you all.